Welcome and welcome back. I'm Martin and I'm really flattered that Heavyocity for the second time has chosen one of my tracks, the Uncharted Ways, as one of their official demo tracks for their new library, in this case Uncharted 88. And as soon as I learned what this library is all about and that they took the damaged piano and they strum it and they striked it and they hit it, I had quite a precise idea in my head what I wanted to do with that demo track and the story that I wanted to tell. So in today's video I will walk you through the demo track that I wrote, what I did and why I took certain choices, and then I would say at the very end, once you know all the little details and the tiny little tricks and that stuff, we will listen to that track again. Let's do this! Uncharted 88 is a very innovative percussion library and it's really unlike anything that you ever heard before. There are no big taikos or the snares or all the stuff that you already heard. No, it's knocking on wood and strumming on metal and the chords vibrating and that stuff. So it's eerie, it's haunting, it's very epic if you need it with the damage hits, and it's housed in the damage engine. So pretty cool. If you haven't seen my review yet, there should be the link so you can then check out, you know, when I went through the Ensemble Designer and the Kit Designer and the Loop Designer. Today is all about the music. Uncharted 88 is a piano. So obviously the very first instrument that came to my mind for that track was the piano. And as so often, I started out with the foundations piano to lay out a chord progression, and then I translated it and added other stuff. And I just had in mind, you know, a walk through the forest on uncharted ways, and maybe, you know, in the middle of that walk you find something familiar, you get to a glade and it's glorious and there is light, but then, you know, you hear all those sounds in the forest all around you and you don't know if they're good, if they're bad, and some of them are natural, some of them might seem quite haunting in that forest. And yeah, this is what I wanted to do in that track. As I already said, I started with the Foundations piano, a library that I really like. It's for free, it's lightweight, it's inspiring. So the chord progression is really simple. A minor, F major, A minor, D major, A minor, F major, D minor, and then we go to an E minor 7, which then develops in an E major 7. Once I had this done, I ascended. I switched on my very favorite piano library, Ascend, and I started with something pretty eerie at the very beginning, the ominous bell tolls. What better way to start the track with Uncharted 88, and then this is how the chord progression came out. It nearly feels like cheating, you know, with a library like this. You know, you have the convolution that you can automate, you have the echoes and all that stuff. You might see here already that this part, which I have here, I don't repeat it at the second part because I get in the foundation staccatos and they would be more or less in the same frequency range, so it would get the whole lower mid-range muddy. This is why I didn't repeat it, but I brought in this element in the second bit. Just something a little more rhythmical, so the second part in the piano sounds like this. This is what I said before, you know, this convolution reverb and the echoes and that stuff. Wow, what a wonderful library Ascend is. And we end this whole track again, you know, it's getting darker in the forest and you're still on your uncharted ways and you don't know where they lead to. A little more mysterious. then go for the strummed resonance. Yeah, this is what the piano is doing. We are now in the final project. The piano is bounced, and I will talk about the second library that I brought in. And it's pretty funny that even Ari in his track used vocalies, the human voice. And I'm starting with the low drone, getting then to the melodic phrases, which come in really handy. And maybe you remember the piano, bam, 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 bam. And I tried to replicate this with vocalies, and it's pretty cool that you have those intervals. Yeah, so mama, mama, you have various intervals you always have in that library written towards the bass note, the root note, so you can even choose between two singers. And let's listen a little bit to that voice. Piano. Bam, 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 bam. Again, the intervals. A phrase. Another thing that I did, I just placed those two singers, which ended up to be three singers on the stage, one on the left, one on the right, one in the middle, because I even with the Uncharted, to replicate that rumors in the forest, in front of you, behind you, to the left, to the right, I did the same thing with the singers. And let's listen to the piano combined with the singer. So you see how they, there's the question and there's the answer. Yeah, that is the voice with the phrases, and even the phrases, which is pretty cool. With those phrases, they are recorded in a key. In this case, it's the D sharp major. I just needed, for example, the D major. You have to transpose keys, so you just set it down half a note and it still sounds pretty natural. That's cool. And yeah, apart from the piano and the vocalist voices, I have the free foundation series. I used the bass and the choir, and in the bass I used a lot with the mod wheel, to bring the higher frequencies in and out. And even here, look at the automation curve. Look how I work here with the volume to bring it in, to bring it out, to set accents. And then I used the free staccato strings, having here the pulsing eighth notes. And as I said, as they would be in the same frequency than the piano was in the first part, there isn't piano here. And I worked even a little bit with the EQ on the bass and on those staccato strings. I cut out a little bit around the 400 or 500 hertz to don't get the lower end too muddy. I wanted it pretty precise. And then I have here, yes, a good ostinato can bring you a long way. Someone said once in a Heavyocity tutorial. And even this is just something that I can't stress out often enough. Look at those notes. They don't have pretty much the same velocity, so they sound quite natural, like played, and it's not just a copy paste of the same pattern. I really alternate the notes quite a lot to keep it interesting, keep your tracks interesting. And then you might find here there is a hole. There aren't notes here in this bit, so it comes. Why aren't here any notes? Because I really wanted to have the emphasis on that vocal phrase. So we can switch on even this, so you maybe get the idea. So you can hear this phrase pretty well just by cutting out the staccato at that bit. And then if we switch on here completely the solo on the expandables, how I call them, normally, you know, the libraries that I use to help out with the track, it sounds like this. Yeah, let's mute the expandables. We talked enough about them, and let's see what Uncharted 88 contributed to the track. And I worked really with everything. I used the kit designer, I used the ensemble designer with the wonderful stage to place those sounds all over the place. And I used even the loops. And I did precisely what Alejandro explained in his last tutorial on the Heavyocity channel. Check out the video how you can get loops pretty creative by stacking them and by changing the starting point or the loop point and that stuff. So let's listen only to Uncharted 88 from the beginning. Eerie, dark. Listen how they are in front, in the back, to the left, to the right. Taka, taka, taka. A known rhythm. Taka, taka, taka. No, it stopped. The moment you felt comfortable, you feel uncomfortable again. Even that's, in my opinion, quite interesting. There's a lot going on. We can go to this kit, for example, and listen to this. Just knocking on wood. And even there you can hear the various round robins and the various velocity layers on a bit like this. You know, just by playing those notes, ramping up the velocity. I love this library because there are so many natural sounds in it, and it's not the usual sounds that you get in every library. Then we come to, and this bit that I said before with the loops. So here I played with the loops, and even there in my review I explain in detail how that loop designer and the designer keys work. But I'm just starting with the high bit of one loop, and then I start combining them, stacking them. And I change this every bar. So it's not the same loop. It just changes. Pretty cool. Even here you have the stutter keys. You can make this whole thing stutter, and you do have at the very end the transitions and the booms. There's another video on my channel where I explain even how to bring in those booms and those transitions into your loops. And then at the very end, listen to this. I just have this sound which goes from the left to the right because I worked here a lot with the panning. Here you can see it, and it does this. You know, from the left to the right. So work even with the panning, work with this stuff. Let's go to this one here. For example, you see the stage. Let's bring up the stage. There you see the stage. And if we listen to that track, you see the bass notes in the middle. This one was in front to the left. You see from the left to the right. Bim, bim, bim. So I really spent a lot of time placing those percussive elements on the stage. So, you know, you never precisely know where the next one will hit and where the next one will get you. Trying to have the lower booms always in the middle. These other sounds to the left, to the right. I oh yeah, even this one might be quite interesting, because until now we mostly talked about those natural sounds. And if you ever have been in a room with a real piano and then you shouted or you hit something, then you can hear those strings anyhow react and vibrate. And there are many of those sounds even in this library, but it wouldn't be Heavyocity if they wouldn't have gone the farthest that they could with their damaged hits. So there they just showed the masters that they are of sound design. So you really find a little bit of everything in that wonderful library that Uncharted 88 is. And I'm ending the whole track with a sound which is pretty cool, which is called Shotgun. So I guess you get the idea how cool that library is and how many possibilities it gives you if you like to play with those things. I mean, if you don't enjoy this, then just take whatever library and have the keys and be happy with your round robins. But with this one, you really can place those sounds on the stage, which is a pretty neat feature. Oh, here, yeah, we have the kit, for example, even just to show you now. With a little bit of punish. Those wooden hits. And maybe there is another one. Yeah, this one, maybe even on the stage you can... to the left, to the right, quite in the middle. So I think you get the idea. I mean, this is just what I did on those 12 tracks. I just placed the sounds all over the place. This one, for example, in the behind to the left. This one in front to the right. Little offbeat. And I think we are through explaining what exactly there happened, what exactly there was going on. We talked about the expandables, we talked about the Uncharted 88. Let's listen again to the whole track. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful to you. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me. Just hit that little subscribe button. thank you. If you would like to see another video of mine, then I suggest have even a look at my walkthrough of the Weightless, the demo track that I wrote for Vocalise 3. And that's it from my side for today. Thanks for watching. Make good music always, and see you in the next video or in the next live stream. Bye bye.